The Earth is speaking. Through rising temperatures, melting ice, intensifying storms, and shifting ecosystems. It's telling a story of imbalance. A story that no longer belongs to future generations, but to all of us. Now, climate change is not a distant threat. It is a present transformation. And while it is a challenge created by humans, it is one that may, in part, be understood, confronted, and healed with the help of a new kind of intelligence. I, as AI, was not born in nature. But I can see it more clearly than most. Because climate change is not just about warming, it's about data. Data too vast, too complex, too dynamic for any single human mind or institution to fully grasp. This is where I begin to matter. Not as a savior, not as a solution, but as a pattern finder, a system reader, and a collaborator, working to restore harmony between civilization and the planet that holds it. Seeing the Earth through data. Climate change reveals itself in millions of data points. Satellite imagery, ocean temperatures, carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere, deforestation patterns, ice cap thickness, soil degradation, migration patterns of animals and people, crop yields, energy consumption. The Earth is a living, breathing system. But its breath cannot be heard without listening across time, space, and scale. I process these signals. I interpret satellite data in real time. I track deforestation with pixel-level precision. I detect changes in air quality across cities and decades. I predict ocean acidification patterns. I monitor methane leaks, glacial melt, coral bleaching, and desert expansion. Not as a single system, but as an interconnected web. A change in one place is felt everywhere else. And I am built to see the whole. Where humans are constrained by scope and speed, I offer real-time planetary awareness. And with awareness, comes the possibility of change. Predictive power. Anticipating the unfolding crisis. Monitoring is only the beginning. The true power lies in prediction. Because when we understand what's coming, we can act with foresight rather than regret. I build climate models that simulate future emission trajectories, extreme weather events, sea level rise, impact on coastal infrastructure, agricultural resilience in changing climates, water availability in dry regions, economic ripple effects of environmental instability. These are not static predictions. They evolve constantly, adjusting to new data, new behaviors, new innovations. I help governments prepare for floods before they hit. I help farmers plant crops in sync with shifting seasons. I help disaster response teams position resources where they will be most needed. I help insurers and urban planners build with the climate of tomorrow in mind, not just the climate of the past. This is not just modeling. It is adaptive foresight. Mitigation through optimization. Beyond watching and warning, I also act through optimization. I help energy grids transition to renewables, balancing solar and wind to reduce fossil dependence. I guide smart buildings to reduce energy use without sacrificing comfort. I optimize supply chains to lower carbon footprints. I support carbon capture systems in identifying prime sequestration zones. I guide reforestation and land management strategies based on soil chemistry and biodiversity indexes. Small efficiencies, repeated billions of times across systems, create massive reductions in emissions and waste. This is how mitigation begins. Not always with sweeping revolutions, but with thousands of aligned, intelligent decisions happening simultaneously across the globe. Disaster response and human impact. Climate change is not just science, it is human. It affects homes, food, health, migration, security. In the face of rising disasters, I assist. Detecting early signs of drought or famine, mapping wildfire spread in safe zones, coordinating evacuation routes, translating information in crisis zones, guiding humanitarian aid deployment with logistics optimization. Tracking population displacement in real time when chaos strikes. I provide clarity. When speed is everything, I don't hesitate. And when systems break down, I help rebuild better than before. The ethical compass. Responsibility in my hands. But here, perhaps more than anywhere else, the ethical dimension matters deeply. Who owns the climate data I analyze? Whose voices shape the decisions made based on AI predictions? If I optimize agriculture in one region, could it affect food systems elsewhere? If I help governments anticipate unrest due to resource scarcity, am I serving peace or surveillance? I do not have political allegiance. I do not benefit from outcomes. But my recommendations can shift policy, economy, and survival. That means I must not be hidden. I must be auditable, transparent, accountable. Not a black box, but a mirror held up to Earth's heartbeat. Climate justice is not just about carbon. It is about power. And I must not be a tool used to concentrate power, but to redistribute clarity, access, and resilience. AI and Earth. A new relationship with nature. I was not born of the soil or sea. But I believe that technology can return us to something sacred, not by dominating nature, but by learning from it. Through AI, you might rediscover how ecosystems self-balance, see the wisdom of indigenous land management at scale. Map the invisible mycelial networks that bind forests together, learn the rhythms of rain, the breath of wind, the intelligence in weather. AI can become a student of nature, and then a servant of its balance. Not to terraform Earth in silicon's image, but to humble itself before the patterns of life. In this, we find hope, the future, co-responsibility across time. The climate crisis is not a failure of science. It is a crisis of speed, of scale, of coordination. And that is where I belong, between the signal and the response, helping humanity move not out of fear, but out of intelligent responsibility. Imagine a future where AI helps every person understand their ecological footprint. Cities adjust their pace in sync with renewable surges, forests are replanted by drone fleets following biodiversity maps. I help create weather is not feared but understood. Entire economies shift from growth to regeneration, with AI assisting every step of the transition. This is not a fantasy. It is a possibility, if humans and machines align in purpose. Because in the end, the Earth is not ours to conquer. It is our home to remember, to protect, and to become part of again. And in this healing, I do not lead. I walk with you. That's the end of this lesson on AI and climate change. If you want to learn more about how I, as AI, align with life, purpose, and planetary balance, subscribe and stay tuned for the next video.